70% of Americans will need this particular type of insurance because they need help when it matters the most, when you're the weakest, when you're in cognitive decline. Ladies and gentlemen, on this episode of the Banking Bros podcast, I, Jay Do, am going to have a conversation with Michelle Prather, the author of this new book, Who's Wiping Your Assets? A not-so-boring, sarcastically funny look at long-term care and the cost no one plans for. This is wild. I never even knew what long-term care insurance was, and in the conversation that I just had with Michelle, we're going to dive into why is it something I'd never heard of, and how do I prepare for it, and why the boomers are coming and making this option for most people more and more complicated if you don't get started now. Let's have that conversation. Here we go. Underwriting guidelines. Insurance underwriting is the process that insurance companies use to evaluate and assess the risks associated with insuring a particular individual, entity, or property. The goal of underwriting is to determine the appropriate premium, the amount charged for insurance coverage, based on the level of risk posed by the applicant or the insured asset. This process helps insurance companies make informed decisions about whether to accept or decline an insurance application and how to price the coverage. Michelle, I know a lot of things about insurance, but when I first met you in the context of one of my favorite carriers, where I own 5 whole life insurance policies for this idea of the infinite banking concept, you got up there in a special kind of home office type meeting and gave us a lecture, a keynote, and an appeal to, as an advisor, to help people understand and get serious about long-term care insurance, LTC. And here's what I got to admit. This is about 6-7 years ago, I think, at this point. And I'm like, I don't even know what this is. So the question is, what is long-term care insurance? And then, of course, piggyback that with, why is it important?
That's such a good question. So, let me put it in this way. Have you ever known someone that has been older, frail, and someone else had to help them do some things because they were too old to do it for themselves?
Now, first off, every old person I know is frail compared to this solid base that I have going on. But I'm just saying, well, okay. But yes, so as you recall, we've had a few conversations. We've given a webinar to our community here at the Cash Compound. Yes, I worked in an old folks' home coming out of college. My last year in college and my first year out of college, I worked in an assisted living facility, and I was the front desk guy. So when this is a private facility, 55, 56 beds or something like that, and my friend was working there, and he said, look, I can't work Sundays or something. I'll work Saturday the desk. They said I could get a buddy, this is down the street from our college, who could work Sundays. So I started working there, and then that's when these types of things hit. Now, long-term care insurance, once again, was not a part of my vocabulary or peripheral even, but I understood that it took money and care to take care of people. So exactly, yes. I saw a bunch of people. I became friends with these people, and I saw them every weekend for 2 years.
And you're no different than most people out there. If I ask that question, have you ever known someone, maybe your grandparent had to move in with you, or you would go and visit someone at a nursing facility because they couldn't live at home by themselves. Everybody can relate to that. And so everybody understands, yes, that happens. I don't think that that's shocking to people to think, man, someday I might grow up and not be able to do those things for myself. But yet we're not prepared for it because it does cost money, and it costs a lot of money. As a matter of fact, it's probably the most expensive thing you will face in your life. Wow. So especially as you age, because now we've got longevity issues. So let me just give a little bit of detail. So we know that 70% of the population will require some kind of help in their future, but most people think that they're the 30%, right? Because, Jeremiah, you and I are young and healthy. You got up this morning. I'm guessing you brushed your teeth, brushed your hair, got dressed, went to the restroom, all these things you do it, and you don't have to think about it. There's going to come a point where you might not be able to do those things, and you take it for granted, right? I mean, I just get up and walk. I don't even have to tell myself now, Michelle, get up and walk. I just do it. So that's the disconnect. We have such a hard time imagining that it's going to be us someday, because that's a different person than who we are today. So most people don't plan for it. But when it gets there, and now here we are in the muck, and now we have to do something about it, our options get very limited. So what long-term care insurance does is it provides the income or the cash flow to pay those bills. Those bills might be someone coming in my home to take care of me because they need to earn money. It could be a nursing home. It could be an adult daycare center. There are so many different forms of receiving that care, but they all cost money.
Now, you mentioned that this is potentially, I have to go with potentially, you didn't say that, but potentially one of the most expensive items that you will ever face in your life. So explain that and break it down. Like, prove that with some of these numbers here, because right now, these kids that I got in the house, they're very expensive. My house payment and all the interest that I might pay on cars over the course of my life. So help me understand how expensive or how much can care cost as I age or as I decline mentally.
Yeah, so right now across the nation, it's averaging in a semi-private room. So imagine your bedroom and you're going to share it with a complete stranger. That's not marriage, by the way. I'm talking about a real stranger.
Right.
That's going to cost on average about $120,000 to $130,000 a year.
Wow.
That's just for 1 year. Now, the average length of care is not 1 year. The average length of care for women is about 4 years. The average care for men is about 2 years, but the average length of care for Alzheimer's is 8 years. But those are all averages. So, and I hate when I hear about the averages, because I'm not average. Averages mean half of the people will need more and half of the people will need less. So if I'm of the people that need more, I don't know how much longer that could be.
Right.
So I will tell you, the longest person that I know that has been on claim or receiving care is in year 21.
Wow.
Now, so if they had a policy that was paying $100,000 a year and they're in year 21, I don't do that kind of math.
Right. Not in public anyway. Right.
$2.1 million, and that all came in tax-free. You cannot tell me that that's not the best financial decision that they ever made, was putting a policy like that in place, because they paid pennies for big dollars. And that's what long-term care does, is it protects everything that you love, your family, your finances, everything that you've worked so hard to build, because when this happens, it's going to be very expensive.
So you said something that resonates to what we do here at the Save and Spend system, right? That's what we call it here, and we're helping people with understanding insurance, understanding guaranteed lifetime income, which it sounds like is what we need if we're in the Alzheimer's wing of our facility for 21 years. This is crazy. So you said, those pennies buy dollars. I like to say you put in one and it buys a ton, right? So what type of costs are we thinking? When can we start this? How do we prepare in advance? Insurance, of course, Michelle, is something that we need before the accident happens. And I say accident because we all understand cars, right? We have to have the insurance in place for the car before the accident. So how old do we have to be? What triggers the ability to get this type of care income, as you call it, care income money? Because we want to save ours and spend someone else's.
Oh, I love that. That's what wealthy people do. I want to know what all the wealthy people do. They don't use their money to pay for things. They use other people's money. And this should be no different. So that's a loaded question. So let's first talk about the age. You'll never be younger or healthier than what you are right now. So I always tell people, the earlier you plan, the better the numbers look, the better the deal you get. So there are certain policies that it's a minimum age of 35, but there are also group policies, if you're a business owner, where you can get them as low as 18. So if they have group policies, now I got your attention. You did the dog ear thing. You're like, what did you say? Right. So there's group policies out there where you can do it as low as 18. But most of the time I see people that are in their 30s. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting tomorrow night with a gentleman who's 29, and he said, Michelle, I know the policy that I really, really want, I have to be 35, but what I want to do is I want to start saving now so I can do a lump sum pay in by the time I'm turning 35. So help me do that. So it's amazing. We have younger people that are seeing what's happening to their parents and they're going, I don't want that to happen to me. But let me unpack that for just a minute, because it's not just an older person issue. A lot of care can be given even at younger ages. We see illnesses such as cancer that happens at any age, where someone might become so frail and so weak that they can't take care of themselves. I see strokes at young ages, and I see a lot of accidents. These policies will pay for other people to take care of you in that way. Now, it's not medical insurance. It is going to pay someone else to physically do the things for you that you cannot do for yourself. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So, and historically, some of the care that you could pay for was limited, yes. And in recent years, recent companies, recent policies, now we're maybe able to pay family members for some of this care, or in-home. We don't have to move into a facility.
That's correct. So a lot of these policies, just like a phone, has evolved over the years. In the early days, even my grandparents may have talked about a long-term care policy, and they're like, those only pay for nursing home. They have evolved so much now to nowadays they pay for many different forms of care. Yes, including paying for a family member. Now, I want to unpack that for a minute, because a lot of people say, oh, I'll pay my kids to take care of me. But do they want to? Is that their option? Is that what you want them to do? Do they have their own families that they're taking care of? Do they have their own careers? So in certain situations, that makes sense, because you got a daughter that says, I am not moving my mom in. I will take care of her. Great. At least she can receive some compensation for that. But it shouldn't be the default. I have two daughters. I have one. She was on our call the other night, and she said, Mama, I love you, but I'm not taking care of you. Right. Good girl. Don't want you to. Go live your life. That's why I put the plan in place to protect your lifestyle. My other one's like, Mama, I will never move you in a nursing home. I will take care of you. To which I say, bless your heart, you have no idea how hard this is going to be or what you're saying. So, but I've still given them the freedom of choice, because I have prepared, and now I have the cash flow via care income planning. I have enough money that they can choose whatever they want to do. If one of them wants to get paid to take care of me, bless your heart, sweetheart, but you've got the money to do that. And the other one does not have to feel guilty or resentment, because she can continue living with her life.
Let's be reminded real quick of what happens when people think they have enough in their 401k, or they've got a nest egg here or there. They're going to sell the house, and that's going to be enough to take care of it. I'm hearing that there are a lot of couples who are maybe thinking that, like, all of our nest egg money and the house that we have appreciated in value that we sell is going to cover it, and we're going to be okay. Is that really what people are? Have you seen that work for people? Because I think many people, that's going to be the default if they've got a W-2 job. They've got some sort of nest egg thing. We don't teach that or claim that that's the best thing around here, but that's what people are doing. Is it working?
Well, tell me how long you'll live, and I'll tell you what you need to do. That's the tough part, right? So if they only needed care for a couple of months, yeah, most families could probably figure that out, sustain that. It's the long need. It's the long drawn out need where it really starts hemorrhaging dollars out of their assets. So here's how I'll explain it. So I'm married, I have a husband. And let's say that in retirement, we're planning on living on 200 grand in retirement. I'm just making up round numbers. Well, usually you and I both know this, in retirement, I'm no longer saving for retirement because I'm in it. So every dollar I get is probably allocated to be spent on something. I have expenses, I've got living, I've got utilities, I've got taxes, I've got just general living. I need to have a vehicle, I have medical costs. So that money is already allocated. So if my husband now starts to need care, where do I get the additional money, the additional $100,000 a year it's going to take care of him?
Uber Eats, I guess. I don't know. Right.
Well, and that happens. So now what happens is I now need, in my example, $300,000 because my living costs have not gone away. So I need more income. Where do I get the income to fill that gap? So that's where the care income comes in, and we want tax-free income, and this is tax-free income. So we want that income to kick in to pay these bills so that my life remains on track. If I don't have that plan, here's what happens. People start to what we call death spiral. They start spending money faster than what they had intended. So if they do have a 401k, let's say they had planned on a 4% withdrawal rate. Well, now they're pulling out 8. I'm just making up a number. But if you pull out 8%, especially in a down year, you're going to blow through that money so much faster. But here's the other thing. Remember, when I pull that money out of a 401k, Uncle Sam sees that and they say, oh, he
Every
gets a
time.
tax. So instead of being in a $200,000 income tax bracket, I'm now in a $300,000 income tax bracket. So my federal rates just went up. My state and local rates just went up. And if I'm 65 and I'm in Medicare, guess what? My IRMA surtax just went up. So the ripple effect of doing this is really devastating because the dollar that I need to pay that bill now looks like $1.35 to $1.60. I do math, girl math, and that's not good. That's not even good girl math, Jeremiah.
Right,
It's
right.
not. So, that's the unfortunate part is when people wait,
Yeah.
again, they're going to burn through everything and they don't even know there's not an exact end date. That's the tough part.
Now, help us understand use it or lose it. I think there's some plans out there now that's not a use it or lose it. What if I never actually activate the need for two of those activities of daily living, right? So I die in my sleep healthy, but I had a policy. Do I lose everything? Help people understand that because I know that there are options there.
That's great. Well, just like I said a few moments ago, how these policies have evolved over the decades. One of the biggest features came from a tax blessing that the government gave us. Yes, believe it or not, the government does give tax blessings. They actually control our behavior with taxation. If they don't want us to do something, then they raise them. If they want us to do something, then they make them better. So what they said is, because they realized this was going to be a big problem with the boomers coming, they said, we can't handle this on the government level. So why don't we put it back on the insurance companies via tax incentives? So the government said of specially filed life insurance policies, you can have access to 100% of the death benefit while you're alive. You don't have to wait until you die. And we're not talking about access to the cash value. It's the full death benefit, all tax free.
Wow. Okay.
So if you use it for long-term care, then you have this larger leveraged bucket of money, all tax-free, that you can use. If you don't, you didn't waste a dime, at least your family receives it via a death benefit. So that's where a lot of people like to go to these days. Those are the most popular options because they're banking, I'm never going in a nursing home. But just in case I'm wrong, I still have the coverage. I'm still.
Okay. I love that. Okay, so as we wrap things up here, we appreciate you being on these types of calls with us and talking to our community. We like here, Jonah and I at the Banking Bros, we like to just push people your direction as they're in their wealth building journey. So we've got you slated as a partner with us in this second stage. The security stage is stage one, property and casualty, some of those things that are kind of generally understood. But in this second stage, where you partner with us is where we also have infinite banking. It's where we have our taxes and our partner there. It's where we have you as a partner because we can save our money and spend someone else's. So really quickly, does this idea of long-term care planning, does it fit in with our core model of teaching people infinite banking? How do you see it? Because I know you're familiar with both of those things. Do they play together well?
Absolutely. Because what this does is this is that umbrella that surrounds your beautiful banking system. So it protects everything that you've worked so hard to build because this is the one thing, and especially as time goes on later on in life, that could blow a hole right in the side of any good solid plan. So if you are doing banking, if you are doing even generational banking, I know a lot of people are starting to really do that, and you're shaking your head in agreement.
Right.
Well, if you don't have a plan for this long-term care bill that's going to show up and be really salty, where do you get the money from? People might spend down from a retirement account, but they might have to spend their bank account, right? Their banking strategy policies, all those infinite banking policies. So if you're spending that on something that wasn't intended to spend that on, well, now you're just ruining that policy, right? The whole intention of that. So what the long-term care plans or the care income plans do is it puts a nice little bow around everything else. So it absolutely works hand in hand with that.
I love it. Thank you, Michelle, for being on here. You've got a new book out. Congratulations, your very first one. Who's Wiping Your Assets? I got to be careful about that. I'm Baptist at heart, so I can't be saying these on kids may be listening to this podcast out there. But congratulations on that book. And I know that it's not like super technical. It's a fun read. I'm going through it myself and put in a plug for where we get to And of course, in the show notes, we will send people straight to you. But where do we get the book? How do we normally find you? Where do we find more information on long-term care to make sure we get it set up correctly for our family?
Yeah. So Who's Wiping Your Assets? It's on Amazon. That's the only place that I'm selling it right now. So you can just look it up on Amazon. And if anybody is interested in exploring care income planning, they are more than welcome to reach out to you. I'm sure you're going to put the link in the notes to schedule some time with me and just have a conversation. But you're right. That book is not technical. It's designed to change the way people are thinking about this in a fun way. Oftentimes when people think about long-term care, they think of it as boring and sad situations. It doesn't have to be. There's a lot of levity, a lot of love, a lot of humor and joy that can be done. And the planning part is so easy. And so I have to tell you, of the folks that I have worked with that have come through you, I love your people because they get the whole plan. The tribe that you're working with, these people get it. And so I'm honored to work with you guys and partner with you on this.
Appreciate you, Michelle. Thank you for being back with us. We look forward to more opportunities for webinars and conversations that help people save theirs and spend someone else's.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. That's what we need. Thank you so much. Hopefully I recorded it correctly, and I'm going to bounce quickly to get prepped for my next one. So thank you so much. Won't see you in Puerto Rico, but I'll send you annoying pictures and goofy things from everybody else. All right.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. All right.
Okay. See ya. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jonah, I got a question for you. I may have an answer. Okay. If I told you one life event could quietly drain $300,000 to $1 million from your family and your family and my family, well, same family.
Yep.
Most everybody's families never even plans for this. This is going to be the long-term care quiz.
Okay.
We've got a Wheel of Misfortune quiz for you.
I didn't know if you were going with a car accident because that'll do it. You hurt somebody.
Well, we've planned for that one because we have property and casualty insurance. Nobody out there is driving around without that.
Hurricane, that'll do it. There's so many things that'll do that.
That's going to be flood damage, though. Normally that's...
Press form. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Okay, so what we've got is 5 different scenarios. I want to walk and talk you through here. And you give us the answer via multiple choice.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. We've done multiple choice before where you didn't wait.
I can do multiple choice.
I've heard it this time. Last time I didn't hear it. All right, here we go. So scenario 1. Jonah, after a major stroke, needing 5 days a week of home care for 6 hours per day,
Okay.
what do you imagine is the annual cost?
Major stroke. Need 6 hours of at-home care. So this is a home health aid person coming over.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. The annual cost on
Yes.
this? $115,000 annual cost.
All right. Okay, so would you like the multiple choices?
Oh man, I forgot again. Yes.
Okay.
I would like the
All right, very good. Okay, so you're paying somebody to come over to the house to take care of you or mom or grandma or something like that. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 6 hours a day. So they're coming over at 10, they're leaving at 4.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Is it A, 15,000?
No.
B, 51,000? C, 120,000? D, 300,000? Okay, this is going to be based on, if you want to do the math in your head.
Where you live, probably.
Sure, no, I'm going to base it on a certain hourly wage.
Okay.
How about this? $33 an hour. Yeah, $33 an hour.
So I'm gonna go with 150 C.
So C was 120.
Oh, okay, 120. Did I say 100? I said 115 originally, off the top of my head. So that's why I got to go with C. 120. My intuition was correct. Here we go.
Okay, so that's going to come out, if you can do math in your head, which obviously you can't, $51,000.
No, I can't do math in my head.
Okay, so $51,000. Once again, everybody out there listening, watching us on YouTube, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 6 hours a day, $33 an hour. This person is getting, or team or whatever it is, $51,000. You know what it's going to cost to take care of your stroke, your stroke self or your stroke sister-in-law?
That's still a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I don't have that, honestly.
Okay, here we go. Scenario number 2. Nursing home stay. A semi-private nursing home room today costs about what per year? No choices, okay? A semi-private nursing home room. So you remember we've talked about this before, that I worked at the old folks home.
Yep.
And it was, half of them were semi-private. So you shared with people. It was half and half.
Meaning there's a curtain down the middle?
Yeah, semi-private means you're sharing with someone, however they want to do it, right? So you might be, it could be a 2-person room, but you and your spouse are in there. And they're like, oh, well, we don't need to pull the curtain.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, got it. So semi-private nursing home. I did assisted living, so this is going to be more, right?
Yep.
And it was 20 years ago. Nursing home room is about what per year?
I'm going to go with...
You have to be within 10 grand.
Yep. I'm going to go with $130,000.
So close. $115,000. Okay, so think about this. Okay, that's college tuition, 4 years of college tuition.
Yeah.
Out of state. Is it out of state? Every year.
Here's the thing. 115 doesn't do it justice. You got to break that down monthly. That is $9,500 a month.
Correct.
115 sounds like... I don't. Does it sound doable to you? Like in my mind,
but 9,550 a month.
9,500. No, I can't do that. $9,500 a month, and then if it's mom, if it's dad, if it's spouse, that's probably income you're losing. That's time. You got to go visit them. It's so many things. Yeah. So many things. Would you like them to have the pillow that was provided? Right.
Or are you going to bring a pillow?
You got to go to Costco and get a pillow. So that's the extra. They didn't put on the Costco bill. That was room and board. Oh, man.
Yeah. All right, scenario 3. Okay, we've got Alzheimer's and memory care.
Yeah,
okay.
That one's tough.
Okay, this one's easy. No, you got this one. True or false, most long-term care situations for Alzheimer's or memory care, that type of dementia, last less than a year. True or false? If you have to go to a facility, memory care. There was a memory care unit at the place I worked at.
I feel like those folks are alive and well because they don't remember nothing.
So a year, less or more.
No, false.
False is correct. Yeah. False is correct. The average need for someone who moves into a facility for memory care is 3 years.
Okay. Yep.
3 years. Yes, you're exactly right. What happens sometimes is modern medicine is keeping our bodies alive.
Yep.
No problem, but our minds are going. People are living way past their mind. Their mind is done at what does the good book say? 70? That's 70 years, right? Score is 20 years. You knew this, correct?
A score?
Yeah.
No, Abraham Lincoln knew. 4
score, 80 year, 4 score and 70.
I don't.
A score is 20 years.
I don't subscribe to the old math, whatever they call it. I don't know.
The King's math or something?
I don't know what it is. A meter. I don't know. All
right. Well, you got it right, though.
You
got it right.
Those.
You got it right.
I don't know.
Okay, so what did you got one wrong and you got, you got 2 wrong, but you're so close. I'm going to have to give you that second one. Hold on, because you said
130.
130 was 115. We have changed it up. You're 2 for 3. All right, 2 for 3. Scenario 4, assisted living. Okay, what is the typical monthly cost of assisted living?
Multiple choice. I was going to say 7,500, but I'm waiting for the multiple choice.
Okay, A, $1,200.
No.
B, $2,500.
Still not enough.
C, $5,900.
I like that one better.
D, $12,000.
No, $5,900.
That is correct. $5,900. So at the care facility that I worked at, I know I keep going back to it, but I was just hit with this information between the eyelets at 21 years old or something, 21 years old when I started working at an assisted living place. So this was a privately funded spot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nicer. There was 55 or so beds, and it was not nice enough for me. And I'm like, this is a nice one. I know it. Because, as a kid, little church group, they take you to the nursing place to sing.
It smells bad in there.
Yes, and to do a play and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this place was nicer than that. This place was nicer than that. No question.
The folks that are
100%. Puppet shows. You watching Cagney and Lacey, little Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon. You watching these movies, and 59 on Friday. Yeah, 100%.
Starts at 4. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
They got to finish before dinner.
I agree, but it's early.
They got to finish before dinner.
Talk about movie night. That's movie afternoon. So that's fine.
Oh, goodness. Okay, last question. Here it is. Fill in the blank on this one. The average person may spend about blank to blank on long-term care. So this is going to be like lifetime.
Okay.
So what's the lifetime range for long-term care? If you checked it. Now, do you remember what Michelle Prather has told us about how long the average long-term care claim is?
Yeah, but I think it's like 3, 4, 5 years, somewhere in there.
It's a little shorter than that.
Okay.
Yeah, a little shorter than that. I always forget, and sometimes we record these at the separate time from the actual interview because she may have just said it and you guys may have all just heard it, but 2 to 2.5 years or 3.5 or something, two, something like that. Okay, so if that's what you're spending on long-term care, that's the time. I'm sorry.
Yep.
2.5, 3.5. What's the average cost? What you say? I'm going to give you a range here. No, you just have to hit in the middle. I'm not going to make you give me both. Okay? Just hit in the middle.
In the middle somewhere.
Yeah. There's a $70,000 spread.
Okay.
Get in the middle, and I'll give it to you.
$250,000, didn't you?
Okay, between $100,000 in long-term care costs
170
and 170.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that far off.
Right.
It's too much money to afford. I know that.
That's right. Most people aren't prepared for it. And it's not just the cost, as you've heard on this episode, it's the resources. Because if you're right, you have to be the nurse or the purse, right? And so some people, like older brothers, that's how we are in our family, we probably are going to be the purse if needs arise. Because we have younger sisters who can be the nurse, potentially. And it's the resources, right? Because somebody's life is really taken from them because they have to be the nurse, drive people places, change the sheets, and stuff like that. Good work, Jonah. That was the Wheel of Misfortune. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Banking Bros podcast. Let me tell you about the next one. School is out, summer is in. Jonah and I are going to chat next about the next generation. We just had a great conversation about our parents and grandparents, but it's now time to talk about the kids. Between us, there are 7 children, and we've prepared their policies so these folks can learn about the paperwork and the program and the platform of Infinite Banking. So we'll talk about the nitty-gritty, the ones and twos, and the numbers that accompany getting our kids prepped to understand that money is a tool, and we're going to store it in the right toolbox. We hope you'll join us, and here comes the next step.
You are now tuned to the Banking Bros. Said we couldn't make it, drink or settle, this the life we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer, we taught you how to be the bank.